Guys, it's 2026 and it's so amazing to actually see that you can actually turn a simple idea into a fully fledged application with using AI. Well, introducing MeDo.dev, the agentic no-code powerhouse that transforms your natural language ideas into full stack, production ready, and applications in minutes. While specialized AI agents handle your front end, back end, and database, you simply refine your vision with its intuitive slide style editor. Go from an idea to a live MVP instantly at MeDo.dev. And in this video, I will be showing you a step-by-step guide on everything we need to know about MeDo. What exactly is it all about? What we'll be able to build. I go by the name of Koketso Capfresh, and this is Billionaire Developers. Alright guys, so let's jump straight into it. Today, let's talk about all things MeDo, which is, a platform that actually helps you to build full stack applications with no code on an AI platform. So let's jump straight into it. Let's look at what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be talking about what is MeDo, who created it, why you should actually consider using MeDo, when to use it, who is it for, where to use it, and also how to use MeDo, and then we'll have our final conclusion. But if you're new to the channel, please make sure and you're asking yourself, what is Billionaire Developers all about? So Billionaire Developers is a global tech and an AI company that focuses on teaching software development, AI, gaming, and everything in between. So if you're interested in actually learning how to code, learning how about AI, as well as have a huge interest in gaming, please do yourself a favor. How's about you make sure that you subscribe, like, and you make sure that you actually leave a comment, right? What exactly are you trying to look for? What exciting new things that you actually want to learn on this channel? But make sure you stay tuned. There's plenty more that comes from. So you're probably asking, who is this guy, right? My name is Koketso Capfresh. I am the founder of Billionaire Developers. I'm also the senior tech lead, as well as the tech content creator on this channel. So some of my accolades is that I am a 4-time certified software engineer. I am an international speaker as well as a mentor, and I've also partnered and I've worked with affiliations with Microsoft, Google, IBM, AWS. But this is really not about me, and let's get straight into it. So what exactly is MeDo, right? So MeDo is a code-free app developer designed to turn natural language intent into production ready products. It is an agentic platform, meaning that it doesn't just write code, right? So it's orchestrated by multiple specified AI agents to handle front end, back end, as well as databases. So you can see this as like it's a full stack AI agent that actually helps you to create and build all of these wonderful applications that we are going to be looking into today. So let's take it way back and see who actually and who's the mastermind and who actually created MeDo. So this is Shawn Zhu, which is basically he's the product head, and as well as a team of veteran architects with deep backgrounds in reinforcement learning and cloud systems. So MeDo basically was created by a company called Baidu, which is considered as the AI giant, often called as the Google of China. So this is a Chinese product, guys. So as you can see, AI is actually growing everywhere around the world. But then you're asking yourself, why exactly do you want to use MeDo, right? MeDo actually, it's all about efficiency and its integrated power. And let's look at some of the benefits that actually it has. First and foremost, it has agentic orchestration. Unlike, simple LLM wrappers, MeDo uses a specialized agent to demonstrate or to decompose your requirements into modular tasks. So modular meaning by step and actually breaking things into much more simpler problems, right? So ensuring that the front end and the back end are perfectly synchronized. So it has a zero setup AI, right? So basically it's RAG in a box. So if you don't know what RAG is, right, it's retrieval augmented generation in a box. So it allows you to build complex AI features like a chatbot with docs without even touching a vector database, right? It has a native infrastructure, so everything you need is also built in. And the really cool thing, it has a really cool a slide slick editor where you'll be able to actually communicate and talk with MeDo in terms of building out your software. So when would be the perfect time for you to actually, dive into creating something on MeDo? First and foremost, if you're looking for something like an MVP, right? So MVP stands for most valuable product, which is something that you can spin up within a day or two, right? If you have a concept, if you have an idea, if you just want to sort of have like a prototype, this is the perfect platform that you can actually use. It's very cost sensitive when it comes to projects. So when you want a professional full stack setup, but you actually have to leverage like less than $5 the tier, and it also has a daily free. It also has daily free credits as well. And one thing is that it also has AI powered workflows. So when you need an app that does more than just display data, just as a tool that summarizes PDFs, it qualifies sales leads, or provides AI driven citations. And then basically, what is like, who is this platform built for? I always say vibe coding and AI tools is for everybody, right? Whether you are a founder, you're a solo entrepreneur, you're a product manager, or you're just a simple coder that wants to get into vibe coding, this is a perfect platform for you because you can be able to interact with it. You'll be able to actually build anything from simple apps, dashboards, backend systems, and so forth. So where exactly can you be able to use MeDo? So it's you can be able to actually find MeDo on MeDo.dev, and I will leave the link in the description as well. Some of the really cool features that you can do is it has a built-in backend as a service, so meaning you can connect it to a database. If you're going to be working with customers, you're going to be working with products, this is a perfect time to actually use MeDo for that. It has a professional ecosystem integration. So what does that mean is it helps you to actually monitor and track all of your inventory, or it has the data analytics in terms of how well your website is doing. You can monitor your sales, you can actually monitor your traffic as well. And the really cool thing that is it has a one-click deployment. Some of these applications you sort of have to have a step-by-step user process in terms of actually trying to deploy your actual application, but MeDo actually does that by a simple click of a button. So finally, we come to the final conclusion, where in this part of the presentation, I call it the developer's digest. And what this simply means is we're just going to take a step back and look at what we've actually learned and observe what we can actually come up and learn from within this presentation. So the future of building is already unfolding, and with tools like MeDo.dev, ideas no longer wait in notebooks. They become working products in minutes. The distance between the concept and execution is shrinking faster than ever. This is where speed meets clarity and imagination meets deployment. AI isn't coming to change development, it already has. And that we are seeing today is only the foundation of what we'll be able to build tomorrow. I love that. And I always say, guys, please, please never ever forget to never stop learning, to explore, innovate, collaborate, and to build. That being said, this is the first part of the presentation. Guys, if you've reached this far, please make sure that you leave a comment and let's continue the conversation. Please make sure that you follow us on all social platforms, Billionaire Developers, and please make sure that you subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. So, that being said, let's jump over straight to the live coding tutorial. All right, everyone. So now we are here where we're going to be looking at a deep dive in terms of actually the tutorial part of this video. So as you can see, I'm officially on the MeDo.dev website, and I will drop the link in the description. So first and foremost, let's just have a look around and see what this platform actually offers us. We can see, it actually gives us a marketplace. So this is a place where you can actually draw inspiration in terms of what you want to build. It has a plethora of examples, right? So you can go in, you can build gaming websites, you can create a game on its own. It has, I can see, it seems like it's a pet shop. It's got some anime to it, it's got an AI dashboard, and this is basically, an array of examples in terms of if you actually want to start building and you don't have any idea exactly what you want to build, right? So I can see here there's a restaurant application over here. So you can actually, once you're on the website, you can actually do your due diligence in terms of looking around and seeing some of these templates. So what I first want to do is make sure that I am actually logged into account. So you want to make sure that you have signed in using any other of your Gmail accounts. All right, cool. So now that you have officially logged into the MeDo application, you will actually see the look and feel sort of still stays the same. So now let's just talk about some of the features that MeDo actually has. So if you can look at some of the features, it has a deep mode, which is high quality and deep optimization. It has a fast mode for quick lightweight changes. You are also able to actually either upload files, upload images. So for instance, if you have sort of something like a wireframe, or you have a PDF, you have a certain picture that you're looking for, you'll be able to actually upload it on MeDo. Some of the cool plugins that I've also seen is that these are some of the AI features that you can actually integrate with MeDo. So things like an image to speech to video. You can have an LLM attached to it. You can have Stripe payments to you. You can actually create an image generation application. You can get the news. So as you can see, there's a plethora of actually plugins that MeDo actually offers to you. And then another thing is style. So this is basically just talking about the look and feel of how you want your website to actually be when you're trying to create. So in this example, I'll be using the free tier just for that I can show you guys what exactly you'll be able to build with MeDo. And initially, I want to actually explore and actually see. I've always wondered how would it actually be actually owning a clothing store, right? So it's something that is very cool, that has cool apparel, streetwear, and as well as formal wear. So the first thing is first is that in this window pane over here, this is where we will be typing our prompts. And what exactly is a prompt? So prompt, basically, it is a set of instructions that you'll be actually telling MeDo what to do. And in the background, it uses something called an LLM, which is a large language model. What this actually does is it's able to translate the words that you're using natural language, which is a process called natural language processing, which is one of the AI as well as machine learning mechanisms and algorithms, where you'll be able to actually communicate with your application without actually inputting any lines of code. Right, sounds simple. And this is the term coined vibe coding, right? This is where you'll just be interacting, having a conversation with your application, and obviously making modifications, adding new features as you actually work on it. So as I mentioned in this example, I want to create a right. So another thing is, guys, because MeDo is it's based on an LLM. What this actually means that even if you make spelling mistakes, right? So even if you make spelling mistakes, MeDo will be able to actually recognize what you're actually trying to make sense of because of its natural language processing. It actually does understand, to be like the simple language that you're trying to prompt. So do not fear if you actually make any mistakes. But I do have to warn you, the more precise, the more accurate your prompt is, the better the result you are going to get, right? So for instance, I said I want to let me just say I want you to create a clothing e-commerce website, right? So you would actually think that, hey, you're probably done with this line, but guys, this is actually shooting yourself in the foot. You are leaving performance on the table. What I mean by that is the more details that you give your prompt, the better the outcome it's going to be. So this is how I'm going to show you in terms of prompt engineering, being very specific and to the T and having very great detail in terms of what you're looking for. Right, so I did say that I want to actually create a clothing e-commerce website, right? So but then I need to give it more context. So I want this website to be futuristic, right? We're going for something very sleek. We can say chic. So I assume that MeDo actually does understand these words that I'm trying to describe to it. I can say cutting edge, very modern. So I'm quite big on like the urban streetwear as well as like your formal wear. So I want to say um um high focus on urban um streetwear and street culture. I also want this to cater uh ca- cater for cater for formal wear such as suits. So yeah. So all right, so I described sort of like the look and feel. Now I want to actually tell it more in terms of what exactly do I want to see onto my website. So I want the following. Right, so first and foremost, I want to have a home section. I want to have a about us section. I want to have a gallery for streetwear, and then for a gallery for formal suitwear, right? And then finally we'll have a contact section. Okay, so so far so good. The prompt is actually looking good. Another thing that I want to just specify is this website is dedicated to all males, young and old. Young and old, meaning it should appeal to males. All right. Maybe I should just say all men. And okay, cool. So far, so good. Now, the next thing I want to actually do is I sort of want to tell it, sort of like a behavioral kind of the kind of instruction in terms of how do I want things to move and transition. So I want to add a lot of modern front end technologies, um, transitions. We can also add motions. We can add rotations and effects. I also want to add a parallax effect, and I actually want to go back to my galleries, right? So in this gallery, I want to sort of like see the difference. And what I'm trying to think about this is maybe we should actually have this as a honeycomb style, right? And then for my formal wear, we can have something like let's try to think. Not a slideshow, but I think maybe let's go for something that looks like a photography kind of a profile, right? So I can say a photography type gallery. I mean, I'm hoping it'll understand what I'm trying to to say. Gallery, right? Cool. So then let's move on and onto that. So now let's quickly look at our prompt. So I want to create a clothing e-commerce website. I want this website to be futuristic, sleek, chic, cutting edge, very modern, a high focus on urban streetwear, street culture. I also want this to cater for formal wear, such as suits. um, yeah. So another thing I can add is that I want to add a um, a shopping cart functionality that is able to add and remove items and include a checkout page. All right. So I'm just trying to think what else would be missing in terms of a clothing brand. So I've mentioned that I have, I'm catering for for all men, young and old. And I think maybe I can also have a catalog section. Um, hmm, maybe that can also work as well. So maybe I can have um a catalog section, and all right, we'll have that. Now, one thing I also want to make sure that now I want to be more specific in terms of the catalog, right? In terms of what exactly I want to actually sell within my catalog. So in the catalog section, I want you I want you to create mockups or slash generate images that can be displayed for sale for both the streetwear and formal wear. Right, just to give it more, just to give it more detailed context. And another thing I want to add is that the store name is called let's see, what can we call it? I can call it dress code, right? Let's just call it dress code. Cool. So and I think also maybe what I would want to do is I want to also add some sort of like I'm gonna go to the styles, and I really like this dark theme that they have, so that it can sort of like add up upon that. And then another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it that I have attached images for you to use just for inspiration, ideas, and motivation to build out this website. Now, what I want to actually now do is I want to actually see if we can actually add a really cool feature here. I also want to add a mini chatbot that can answer frequently asked questions about the website. Right, so I'm really curious to actually see how MeDo is going to implement this. So, all right, what I then did is I did my due diligence in terms of just searching for some clothing items, just so that MeDo can sort of have like a reference to see what is going on. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to paste all of my images over here, and it's going to be loading. Okay, it seems like it's only one image. Okay. Let's see. Desktop. Let's go to MeDo. I wonder if you are able to select. Okay, there we go. You've uploaded files. First files have been. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay, that's fine. I think it's got enough motivation to see that happening. So what I'll then do is I'll try to let's try to actually add more. Now let's actually see what this prompt can actually produce. So the one thing that I really like about this is that nowadays all of these vibe coding AI tools is that it actually gives you sort of like a way to it has a thinking process where it doesn't just immediately take all of your prompts and it just simply runs with it. A really cool thing that I really like is that it actually gives you a document requirements, right? So what this actually means is that it actually gives you a breakdown in terms of what the application is all about, what the application name is. It has a description and it has its core features, right? So we did mention it has a home, it has about us section, a gallery, two different galleries, a catalog section, a contact us, a shopping functionality, mini chatbot, right? So this sort of like gives you like a blueprint word for word in terms of what exactly is going to happen, what's going on in your application. I really like this factor because it is a requirement where you can just actually copy this, add it as a Word document, and actually this actually explains what the whole application does. And then on the right over here we can actually see that the app is actually being generated, right? So one thing that I also would like to actually see is I actually wanted to actually see if the steps that MeDo is actually taking. I want to actually see its thought process. I want to see its completion stage, but I think we'll just have to wait and give it a couple of minutes and actually see what MeDo has now officially generated. Okay, guys, so it seems like MeDo has finished actually creating our website. So first and foremost, okay, it looks pretty much okay, decent. I mean, I did say I want a futuristic look, so I guess it gave me something like out of this world kind of a look and feel. All right, and in three, three, two, one. Okay, guys, so it looks like MeDo has officially finished building this website. So, one thing that I actually did notice is that MeDo actually does keep a track of all the tasks that it has been doing while building this. So, as you can see, it's quite a lot that it has added. It also has a checklist to actually certify that all of these tasks actually are complete, and it also runs some tests. So let's just have a look see and see what the whole website looks like. All right, so I like the fact that they actually used really high resolution pictures. I like the theme. All right, it has a streetwear, and it also has like formal apparel as well. So I'm actually quite happy so far with what I'm seeing. I also then want to see the streetwear and the formal wear. All right, we'll get to that. So let's explore this catalog. All right, so it shows me the streetwear, okay, catalog, and the formal one. So one thing that I did actually try to see is that I think I did mention that for the streetwear I want like a honeycomb style, right? So this is not exactly what I was going for, but I mean it still works. Let's look at the about. Okay, about dress code. Okay, that seems perfectly fine. So as you can see, it's pretty much a very simple, minimalistic kind of a website. Let's look at the catalog and let's actually see if actually our cart actually works. So let's just add some items. All right, let's add that. Okay, that has been added to the cart. Let's add another item. Let's add that, and let's just maybe buy a full suit. All right, and let's add that to the cart. And let's actually look and see how our card actually looks like. Okay, so it looks pretty decent. It does actually still have most of the capabilities that we actually wanted. I want to see if we can actually delete stuff. And yeah, all right. So far it's looking pretty decent. I'm not complaining. And another thing that I actually wanted to actually explore is, you remember we had an interactive chatbot, right? So let's see what actually the support chatbot can actually do. So it actually asks like, what exactly are we asking for today? And let me how do I find my size? Or okay, so let me say what are your shipping options? All right, so okay, so it actually does respond, but is it more interactive? So let's say do you ship to South Africa? Let's see if it will actually respond. All right, so it's sort of like, breaky, but all right, I mean, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. So I think another thing we can actually look at is, let's look at some of the changes we can actually do here. So first and foremost, I want to sort of like change this futuristic look and make it more, relatable to clothing, other than just being more futuristic, right? So first and foremost, we can say, okay, perfect. Now let's work on some changes, right? First and foremost, I think number one, I think we can add more images to both the streetwear and formal wear, right? We can add more images for that. So let's see. I think, yeah, I'm also not so happy with the landing page. So I think another thing we can say is, please rework the landing page slash home page, make it more fashion, yeah, more fashion, how can I say this, more fashion focused, right? More fashion focused. Let's also say, let's rework please rework the styling, right? The styling, word fonts to be more like a fashion brand. Let's see. Also, okay, so in the images actually, also add different men age groups, from toddlers to late mature men. Okay, let's see. So the about page, okay, that's also fine. Streetwear, okay, so we actually want to change this. We want to change the formal way. So another thing is that I want to also emphasize and highlight, maybe what we can do is maybe change the honeycomb to, let's have this as a what cool styles can we add as a maybe as a continuous, nah, not a slideshow, maybe let's think of something circular, right? So rework the street way gallery to be more of a more to be more of a continuous circular pattern showcasing all the streetwear items. Right, so not quite sure what MeDo is gonna do with this one over here, but I sort of just want to see, its creativity. And then in the catalog, yeah, so everything just it looks perfectly fine for me. I think we just need more products. So far so good. Maybe let's just see. Okay, that's also perfectly fine. And then we actually do have a proceeding. So okay, so the functionality I'm quite happy with. I think we can just see what now MeDo will have or actually do when we actually add these new changes. All right, so it's going to be thinking once again, and let's see now what the final outcome is going to be like after it's finished with its changes. Okay guys, so it seems like okay, I'm seeing some improvements once again. So let's look at the summary that MeDo says that I've successfully enhanced the dress code website with a fashion-based redesign. The site now features an extended product catalog covering all age groups from toddlers to mature males, a sophisticated editorial style homepage with a luxury fashion typography, and an innovative continuous circular. All right, so okay, cool. So I'm actually liking this. I like the fact that it's actually now representing some clothing. I think I would also just change this the color scheme. It's just throwing me a bit off, but let's just see. Okay, so far so good. All right, so it actually did listen to what I asked for in terms of including younger males and toddlers as well as older males. Okay, that's also fine. Let's see, two worlds, one wardrobe. All right, streetwear and formal wear. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Let's see, so the about page. Okay, so it's right here. So let's look at streetwear. All right, okay, cool. So it actually does follow what I actually asked for. But I'm not seeing anything circular though, but we can work with this. We can work with this. And let's see. Okay, it's added more images. That's fine. Let's look at formal wear. Formal wear, we didn't really do any much changes. Okay, so I'm guessing it just needs to have a better API reading in terms of collecting the images, but that's also perfectly fine. I'm cool with that. And let's look at the catalog. So yeah, I mean, I can see where where the improvements are. It's definitely, I like the fact that it did take some of my notes that I did say, so it it generated more really cooler items that we can actually add. So I think so far so good. I would definitely keep constantly working at it, and I think definitely we'll get a proper product. So now before we actually close this web this so before we actually close this tutorial, I just wanted to make sure that one thing about I really liked about MeDo is that you can also have things like look at the source code, right? So if you're actually able to do code modifications by yourself, you can actually do that. You can also once again have integrated plugins. It actually gives you as well as back end services, but for the most part, I am quite decently happy with the result. I think with continuous prompting we will actually get there, but I like the initial idea. The only thing I would further change is just this color scheme of dress code, right? And it will just simply keep it the way it is. Now guys, what I want to then do is I want to also show you how you can actually publish this website. So if you go up there at the top, you'll be able to see some of the features, right? So you can actually see, all right, ready to publish, available to external users after publishing, access links, or you can add a custom link. All right, so let's just, okay, so this is basically if you actually have your own certain domain. All right, so let's just click on publish now. and let's see what then will happen. Remember, guys, one thing that I want you guys to really take away is you really have to be patient with these AI tools, because you need to be able to actually tell them exactly what you want to do. So I can see that, okay, so this should be the link to my website. So if I can copy this link and I paste it into my URL, fingers crossed, and let's see, is this website finally? Yes, it is live. Guys, I will also leave the link to this project in the description for you to actually see and have a look around. And guys, that being said, I really hope that you have learned something about building with MeDo and the couple of things we've actually explored. So I go by the name of Koketso Fresh, and this is from Billionaire Developers. I will see you in the next one.